Hello. Hello. Welcome to the Ponytails Podcast. This is Andres Gamboa, your host. Welcome to the show. If this is your first episode, thanks for being here. So excited. I am so glad that you are helping us, supporting us. You're listening because we care. Look at that. Welcome comedy is what that says now on the screen. If you're listening, you probably have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. But if you're watching, this is hilarious. Welcome comedy on air. Um, oh man, I love doing this whole thing. By the way, thanks to Hum Kombucha, one of our sponsors, exclusively partnering with us. That's all I get to drink, and it's delicious. It's good for my body. Cool. If you have not heard of an episode of us before, if this is like your first time, let me tell you what we're about. We interview people who sold books door to door for 80 hours a week throughout their college summers for a company called Southwestern Advantage. Now, we're not affiliated with the company in any way. All we have in common is that we all, myself included, and all our guests, with some special exceptions here and there, all went door to door for this company. Sometimes people sold for just one summer. Sometimes people sold for 8 to 10 summers and then had a whole career in the corporate level of the company. Regardless, they're all welcome here, and we have them on to share their stories and experiences, catch us up on what they're up to now, how what they learned back then is affecting them for positive or negative or neutral, in today's world across all aspects of their lives. And it's become such a fun experience for me to be able to meet them and give them a platform to express themselves and share all of their stories. Have you not heard about us yet? Haha, all the book people would be laughing about that. Now, we do like to say, guys, this is a financially monetized, whatever you want to call it, supported podcast, and we have some partners that we work with who are awesome human beings. We decided to keep it in the family. Thankfully, we grew to a large enough number that it made sense for people to do so, but we wanted to keep it within people who were alumni, who are doing really cool things in the community or just changing the world in their own way, taking over the world one day at a time. So what we asked them to do is to share some of the industry secrets, trade secrets, or things that works for them in their current companies or at their current jobs, and how you maybe can use some of these tips to improve your current status in your career or in your life. And we'll begin with Metcher. Metcher is one of my favorite people on the planet. One of my good buds. He's incredible. In fact, one of the reasons I moved to Portland, even though he's not here anymore. But he's hiring. He's one of the top coaches with Southwestern Consulting, and the way he does it is simple. He uses systems. Look, you got to use systems if you want to scale anything. But if you're curious about what a coach actually does, he has 30 different clients that he goes as deep into goal setting and training as your sales manager did with you while you were in Southwestern. So imagine having like 30 first years you train with twice a month. That's pretty impossible. Sounds like, anyway. Sounds pretty hectic. But his secret is that he uses Evernote. So that's his tip of the week, is make sure you use the app Evernote to keep track of every single thing that you need. In his case, it's client goals. Our own Nick Taverdi even is one of his clients, and he keeps notes on meetings, tax, and helps him stay accountable to everything that he's planning on doing before their next meeting. So work with the best and bring out the best in others is what he says, and you can learn those tips and tricks from Will. If you need to, reach out and we'll put you in touch with him. Love you lots, brother Will. Also, we're partnered with Elevate Wellness, taking fitness to the next level is what these guys are doing. And this is Seth Hood, Zane Gallagher are the two alumni that we are directly working with. Zane is actually in the middle of prepping for his next physique competition in February. So he's like one of the best people to learn from because he is crushing it in that arena. And of course, Seth as well, who had a very successful first and second year of competing. And so these are the guys that we're learning from. And here's the tip that they had for you if you're working out. And you hadn't thought about this in a while, but hey, it's dynamic stretching versus static stretching. So dynamic stretching is what they recommend. It's a type of stretching that has you constantly moving and warming up instead of sitting and holding a stretch. Do it before a workout to mirror more of the workouts that you're going to do for that particular set. It will prevent a lot of big and little injuries that can happen otherwise. So put that to work and check out his social media profile. That's at Train with Zane on Instagram, or you can check out at Seth Hood as well. They have a lot of tips that they put out every single day if you are into the fitness world. And then, of course, Cardinal Senior Benefits. We are partnered with Quintin Roberts, and he is just cranking. Him and his team are cranking in the insurance, final expense insurance. All of the reps he works with are earning six figures. You're actually underperforming if you don't earn more than $200,000 in a year. Well, how the hell are they doing this? First thing to note is that over 10 1,000 people are turning 65 years old every day. So this is a tip of the industry. It's something to think about, and just some fun fact. It's a massive need for what they have to offer in a rapidly growing demographic. So simply put, consider working in an industry that shows no signs of slowing down. And if anything, it's speeding up. And part up with someone like him, Quintin, to go and show you the ropes. And he, of course, has a track record to prove that he can help you earn that kind of money by helping people. So if you're looking to increase your income, free up some time, we can get you in touch with him. The fact is that his reps still earn that money by averaging about 30 hours a week in the field, all while doing zero cold calling. That's pretty crazy. Zero cold calling. That's bananas to us in the book world, for sure. And then last bit of announcement, guys, sign up for our newsletter, The Colt, COLT. We went live. We sent out the first ever newsletter for the Ponytails podcast on August 1st. September 1st is the next one. So make sure you sign up to catch that one. You can keep track of a bunch of different stuff. Things like what are happening in the podcast, what are we doing, what are we learning as we're growing a podcast. Maybe you're interested in doing your own podcast. What are jockeys doing, more tips and stuff like that. We also have a little funny section. And our favorite part, the Trot Setter. Trot Setter is where you can keep track of your units, YOUNITS. And basically, for every time you share, like, comment, or do something that is engaging with the podcast, we'll give you units, and whoever has the most units at the end of the month is going to get prizes. So we give out merch, maybe a free ticket to Bizzler, depending on the month, whatever. Cool. So make sure you visit www.theponytailspodcast.com. That's the Ponytails, as in stories, tales, podcast.com, to sign up or learn more. Thank you so much. And now, time for our guest today. Arguably our biggest fan. I'm pretty sure she has been with us. I mean, hell, if you have been listening to the show even regularly, you'll see her name pop up. If we go back and count all the units she could have earned, I think she could probably take a year off of listening to our show, and you would still not catch up if you did everything that you could possibly do. Angie Quiñonez is with us here today. She sold 3 summers for Southwestern Advantage from 2019 through 2021. So she went through the pandemic, which is a really crazy time for the company and it's in general. She was part of the JYD Junkyard Dog organization, went to the university, or Arizona State University, actually, ASU, originally from Apple Valley, California. But if you want to get a hold of her, you can go to Instagram and type in @TheTrueLoveBug. The True Love Bug is her Instagram handle if you want to get in touch with her. And her favorite Augmandino scroll was, I will greet this day with love in my heart. So we will be with her in just a moment. Angie Quinones. Ponytails Podcast. Here we go. What is up?
What's up, homies? I love that intro you gave me.
Hell yeah. Welcome to the show. Finally. Oh my gosh. You are such a cool human being, and I am so happy to be doing this with you today.
Oh, thank you. You're a cool human being. I'm pretty excited to be here. I like, it's like kind of one of those fangirl dreams come true, you know?
Thanks. It's such a weird thing, right? This whole show. It's just, honestly, It's weird. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense that we're doing how we're doing because there's so many book people that like to support each other, but also how odd that this is even a thing, you know?
Yeah, how odd for you to have even like thought of it. Like, that's crazy.
Thanks, COVID.
Easy.
That's what it is. COVID is what happened. How far back do you think that you listened? Like, what was when was the first time you remember hearing about the show?
I'm trying to think. Well, I guess it was probably a little bit before my 3rd summer. It was definitely like, yeah, I want to say it was like October, between like winter of like 2021, or
Nice.
Yeah, or 2020. I don't know.
And then you binged it when we started November of 2020. So
okay. So actually, no. I think it was like early 2021 is when I started listening to you guys. So yeah, I think it was like maybe like 4 months into it, maybe is when I started listening to it. Yeah. So yeah, it was like early 2021 because yeah, it was before my third summer.
Back
Yeah.
in the day, we were still going live to the
Yeah.
Facebook
Uh-huh.
alumni group.
Oh yeah, I was on Facebook, I was on YouTube. I was really annoyed when you guys moved to YouTube because I prefer Facebook. Like I don't know, I'm just like
I
I don't
know.
interact, and when you guys went to YouTube, I'm like, dang, I don't see any of my comments. This is sad.
I know. It's the worst. It was worse for the people that love the Facebook, but honestly, YouTube is such a better platform for many reasons, right? For
Yes.
the
Yeah.
SEO and then also just the stats. It's just much better. So if you're listening and you want to start your own podcast and you want to know if you're going to do a video or not, go to YouTube. Definitely worth it. Absolutely. So anyway, thank you for being here. I'm excited to talk to you. And so let's dig right in. I mean, okay, so you stopped selling books just this last summer. So this is your first summer off. Like this is your
Yeah.
fresh. So how do you feel and why the hell did you leave? How did you
Oh
end up
man.
here?
Okay. So, well, it's kind of been a weird summer. It was definitely weird leading up to the summer too, because like I was still pretty involved in Southwestern. Like, some of my best friends are, in Southwestern still, like Elise Miller and Elizabeth Berry. Like those are probably two of my closest friends from the company, and they're still selling. And it was kind of just and I also helped out Elise with like recruiting and like phoning and stuff every Sunday.
Mm.
And then if I had a goal every week that I had to meet, and if I didn't meet it, then I would see her like the next 3 days to phone after work. So I was pretty much like I was surrounded by book kids like all semester. And there were even like bees that were like asking me for like advice on like recruiting and just like having a growth summer, and just like from like just questions of things that I've learned, and or even like why I chose to leave. And so it was kind of interesting transitioning, and like it felt like I was supposed to be going, like the days leading up to it, it was like, oh, like I feel so unproductive, like I'm not doing any recruiting, or I'm not doing any like yeah, like it was just weird. It was like, I mean, yes, I was like recruiting, but for Elise, it wasn't for me. I wasn't having to like do any interviews or anything. So that was weird, because I feel like the last three years that I've done it, I'd never really like I always brought someone out every year, but like I was really consistent, or at least tried to be, with like recruiting stuff. So it was weird. It was weird for sure, but it's honestly been really
Yeah.
fun. I feel like this is the first summer I've had in a really long time where I've actually gotten to celebrate my birthday. So that's kind of cool.
Which just happened.
Yeah, yeah,
We have a special connection on your birthday, which is
we
really
do.
odd.
We
Such
do.
cool. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank
This
you.
is being recorded in July still, so it was July 13th, right?
Yes, July 13th. Yep. You're gonna always remember my birthday now.
Oh yeah, I'm never gonna forget your birthday for
Nope.
sure. Happy. I'll text you every year. Be like, happy fucking birthday.
And I'll be like, happy welcome to America Day.
That's right. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Oh.
Yeah, but it was my first time getting to celebrate, and it was just really cool. I celebrated it like 3 times. It was really awesome. um I learned I found a new hobby. I started doing paddle boarding, and that's been really fun. I've gone like every weekend, and I feel like that's not something I would have learned, had I
Hell yeah.
kept going. So I don't know, it's been really fun. And yeah, it's just been a really fun summer. It's different for sure. I've gotten so used to working hard, and I mean, in some respects, like I still work hard, but like just like a different level of hard. So it's been really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, that's actually interesting that you say that, because like I don't know if your experience is in this now, but every once in a while, maybe on your birthday, this happened to you, or maybe people listening who sold like that first summer you don't sell, and you're sitting there on like that second Tuesday or third Tuesday of the summer, and you're like, maybe you're at the pool or you're shopping or something, and you think to yourself, oh shit, I'm off schedule.
Right. Yeah.
You feel guilty for even like thinking of going to the movies, even though
Uh-huh.
you're like for sure not selling anymore. There's like this like
I
weird
know,
guilt.
it's so weird. Yeah. Maddie Whalen, she was on an episode a few weeks ago. she lives here in Arizona now, and like we've become really good friends since then. And like sometimes we'll think about it. We actually went to the lake on a few days ago, and we're both like, whoa, like driving to it. She was like, it felt like I was going to a Sunday meeting, and I was like, right? Doesn't the drive like that feel like it, like up here? She's like, yeah, this is weird, and there's gonna be no Sunday meeting. And I was like, I know, this is weird. And then while we were like chilling in the water, we were on this like big floaty thing, and we just both looked at each other and we're like, whoa, like we'd be selling books right now.
It's odd. It's an odd
Like,
feeling, which is not good. It's not a good thing. I feel like.
it
I mean,
is,
it's not a
it's a
bad
little
thing.
weird for sure. It's definitely mixed feelings for sure. Yeah, weird.
Do you miss it? Do you wish you would have gone back?
I mean, I think about it sometimes. I'm like, oh, like, you know, whenever I see people like post on Facebook, like on their page, I'm like, oh, like that must have been a cool family that they met, you know. But then it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've made a lot of cool memories this summer, and I wouldn't have had this summer had I chosen to, you know, continue selling books. And I don't know. I just feel like it happened the way it happened, and um, I guess that kind of leads into like the question of like, you know, why I left Southwestern. And for me, like honestly, it was mostly just money that was like the biggest
Yeah.
factor as to like why I left, just because I got into so much debt on my last summer. I know some people kind of know my story and some people don't. Just to like condense it, my third summer was really rough. I literally the first day of like in-person sales school, I broke my foot and had to get surgery on it. And
Huge dents.
stay in sales school for 3 weeks, 3 extra weeks. I went through 3 sales schools my third summer. Fun fact.
Yikes.
So but yeah, that was the start of it. And then, you know, I couldn't work for like the pretty much most of the summer. I literally didn't start working until like I think like a week before my birthday, which is like already like week what, 7, 8, 6, I don't know, something around there. So
Well into the summer for
yeah,
sure.
so like it was really hard. Plus, I had my little sister. She came out to sell as well, and she was a walker, so I had to pick her up and drop her off every day. And yeah, that was fun. And I pretty much it was a rough summer for both of us too, financially and just like all of the above. And yeah, so I was basically supporting her and myself, and I wasn't working. And so that was the start of it. And my sister ended up crashing that car. Literally, I think it was like a week before my birthday, or no, like a few days. It was like July. It was like July 7th or 8th or something like that. It was like right before my birthday. And yeah, so then I had to get a new car, and yeah, that was yeah. So honestly, like it just yeah, that was like the biggest thing. I just got into a lot of debt, and then I still owed Southwestern. I owed Southwestern. I sold I don't remember the number. I think I sold maybe like 800 units in that like short time frame that I did sell. I think it was like 5 or 6 weeks. About 800 units. And I still, because I just had so much high expenses and things kept happening, I didn't remit enough money to the company, and I ended up having to owe the company like I think almost $4,000. So yeah,
Wow. Well,
and
so people understand, just because people listening might not really understand, or hell, even people who did sell books might not even know that you could even have a summer like where this happens. So basically, long story short, all summer you're collecting money from families, right? And then usually it's half down. When a family buys books, sometimes they pay the full thing, but sometimes they pay half down. Regardless, you only really keep what's in your budget on the week. So like your expenses, maybe a couple 500 to $1,000 in emergency in case your car breaks down and you need something serviced on it. But really, you don't really keep much money with you. You send it all back. You remit it to the company, and then at the end of the summer, if you have a certain amount of remittance, they'll send you the books, right? And then you collect the second half of the order from the money, and essentially it's 40% markup. So when you come back home or back to the company, you have submitted 60%, right? 50 from the original, and then another 10%, which is 60, and then you keep the last 40, right? So the way that you end up owing money is that you can't remit everything because you need it to like survive, to like eat, pay your rent, yada yada yada. So you don't remit as much. They still send you your books because you got to deliver them, but you didn't sell enough books to kind of cover what you owe, and so you end up in the hole. And so you ended up, I was in the hole 1,000 after my third summer. $4,000 is rough,
Yeah.
rough on a
Yeah.
broken foot with a bad car. Yikes.
Yeah, it was literally, I mean, it was rough, but like I was so focused on like my sister, she was my first year, and just first years in general. I was like, I'm not going to quit. And so,
Right.
yeah, honestly, sometimes I look back and I'm like, damn, I should quit. But, it made me feel better at the end of the summer. That was a woman of my word. But yeah, honestly, that was mainly the reason why I didn't continue selling. It was just a really rough like semester to come back to. I was really broke for a while, and like I was really struggling. Like I had a student loan, so that covered my housing, but like food and like everything else, like I was struggling.
Right.
I starved myself for a good like few weeks, and it was pretty sad. It was a really low
No
point.
way.
I got into like a really deep depression and whatnot, and so it was rough. It was a rough. And I've posted about this on my Facebook, my personal page and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was definitely really really rough time after the summer, and that's kind of what I mean, at that point I was like, I don't even know if I want to live another summer, let alone do another summer.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of why I decided to stop selling.
Yeah,
So,
that makes absolute sense. Holy cow. So what did you do? Like what did you hang on to? Where did you find like the wherewithal to kind of go through that? Like how did you, because that's a deep place to be. Not, I'm not even talking about financially. I'm talking about just in general, like mentally, emotionally. And so to to kind of claw your way back out of that, that's really difficult. How did you do that?
oh, it was it was hard. I mean, I guess like at the end of the summer, like during like check-in, it was kind of easy for me to like put it to the side because I was really focused on the first years. They just finished their first summer. I was kind of the one of the only student leaders there to like let them have like a fun check-in. So I was like really focused on them, and like I really really just like tried to focus on them to like keep myself going during the summer. And then I guess, I don't know, after the summer, it was a lot of God, really. I mean, it was a lot. I mean, I had a lot of help with a lot of mentors through Southwestern, and just my personal life. Like Trey Campbell, he's one of my good
Mm,
friends and mentors. He helped me out tremendously throughout that time, just through a lot of prayer and just talking, and kind of just bringing me back to God. We went to a mission trip together, so that was really cool. Elise Miller, she was my student leader, the one that recruited me. She helped me out a lot too, just by talking to me and just like really just being there for me and just checking up on me. So that was really helpful. My friend Elizabeth Barry, she actually encouraged me to go back to therapy or go to therapy. And
yeah, that's big.
yeah, yeah, she was a super big help. That was something that I always put off in doing, and she was kind of like, let's go walk to the counselor office at ASU. Like I'll stay with you in the office, wait for you. I was like, oh, okay, sure. And so
Wow.
yeah, I went back to therapy and kind of just started taking those steps to really just heal. And yeah, then I went to therapy for a while. That really helped. They pointed me to like a more specialized therapist because I guess I have PTSD. So
Yeah. Yeah,
from
I would say
probably
that's accurate.
probably just other things in my life. I've had a very interesting life, but story for another time. And but yeah, so I don't know. I guess it was really just the people that surrounded me and encouraged me to like help myself is kind of what got me through it. Because I was definitely not self-motivating.
Right. Well, and it's okay to not be okay. It's that's the biggest thing that I think people. It's man, I could get on a soapbox about this. We talked about this on the show before,
Oh
but
yeah.
basically, like, it's hard for people who only sell a lot to understand what it's like. because it's hard. There's so much pressure, and this is the part of Southwestern that people don't want to talk about, and that we've talked about here every once in a while. But that's
Right.
like there's so much pressure in like doing well and performing, and I don't even know if it's intentional. It's just like even within our community, we just want to be competitive and we just want to like push each other, but it's almost to a point where it's too far for some of us, and that's not a bad thing. It's just understanding people in where they're at, right? Like there's certain
Yeah.
situations, like you hit a broken foot, right? That's going to set you back a little bit regardless, and so there's just
Yeah, no, I remember going to check in and like I wanted to strangle this first year. It was actually, yeah, it was the first year. I can't remember if it was in my org or just, I don't know, first year, but like they're like, like we brought up like, like, oh, like how'd you do? How'd you do? And um, I was honest. I was like, honestly, I didn't do that great, because I mean, I only sold like less than half the summer, and my foot was broken. I was literally walking door to door on crutches. And this first year goes, that's just an excuse. Like I was a walker and I had like four car crashes and blah 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 blah. And I was just like, well, fuck you. Like
yeah,
sure, like yeah,
fuck
you might
you.
have had all that, like you didn't have a broken foot. Did you go door to door on crutches? No? Okay, then you can't say anything.
Yeah. Well, and even more than that, it's like it's not an excuse.
Right.
You need help, and and even if it wasn't, even if you didn't break your foot and you didn't do that well, like that's okay. It's
Yeah.
fucking okay. It's really okay. And we Heather Dutton was, I think, one of the first people we talked about this on the show with, where it's like I'm amazed that they don't have, because PTSD is the accurate and correct term. Like I can just hear some Southwestern people right now going, no, it's not. Yes, it is.
Right.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Even you who did well, you had moments in your summers that were rough. Some people have had even rougher moments, right? Some people had worse than a broken foot. Some people had worse than, like, some people
Yeah.
have know people that like have died. I mean, it's you know what I'm saying? It happened. I know for a fact that it's happened. And that's not talked about enough. And so when people come out of that, there's like no blanket to catch them, right? Because the thing is, they know that they're sending people to go do it, in some cases, the hardest thing that they've ever done, if not the hardest thing they'll do or they've done probably in a while.
Yeah.
And to not have like a safety net on the other end of that, on the back end of that, where it's like, hey, we're gonna have you go talk to this therapist who does not work for Southwestern Advantage, but they're just a therapist, so you can tell them what it was like and what you need. They're just gonna evaluate you, make sure you're okay, right? They're not gonna try to tell you to come back or not come back. You just go talk to them, and you have to do that before you check out. Like
That would be
even that would go so far into
yeah.
caring for the people that are making you money. So
Absolutely.
it just baffles me. And supposedly they're killing it. They're making enough money. So if there's ever a time to be able to invest into something like that, I
Yeah.
feel like it'd be now. And I'm calling them out on it, because
Oh
mental
yeah.
health is a fucking thing. And
Mhm.
no amount of just squashing Mr. Mediocrity or self-talk is going to really help you with that. Sometimes it's a real thing that
Oh yeah.
you need to talk through. So I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. And that's really hard.
Thank
But
you. Yeah.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad. I mean, I look back at it sometimes and I'm like, like, I mean, I look at my foot sometimes and I'm like, man, this fucking foot. It's funny because like I remember like talking to my DSL, towards the end of my summer last summer, I was just really like, oh, like so done with my summer. I was like, I'm so done. Like I feel like I can't get any momentum. Like I actually did have a few of my best days like ever and all three of my summers on crutches, which was kind of crazy. But towards the end of the summer, I was kind of just done. Like it was just like my car was having so many problems. I had to get the engine replaced. I had just bought it. Like it was just like so much, and I was just done. And I was just kind of angry at like just everything. And like I remember talking to my DSL, having a PC. I had a follow day. I was following someone, and I just remember telling him like,
it's 8 o'clock.
Oh, sorry, that's my computer. I just remember telling him, like I'm angry. Like I feel like I should like like none of this should have happened, all that. And like he was kind of like, oh, like, kind of just I was kind of angry even more because I knew what he was gonna say. Like I always try to guess what my DSL is gonna say, and like when I'm right, I just get so angry. I'm kind of like, oh, like I knew you were gonna say that. And like I remember saying like in my head, like, oh, he's probably gonna say like, oh, like 10 years from now, you're not gonna think about this, and 10 years from now, like it's gonna be fine, like blah blah blah. And like, you're gonna look at your foot, you're gonna be like, haha, like that's so crazy. Like, so sometimes when I look at my foot, I'm like, no, like fuck you. Like I hate that. I have a scar.
No.
It used to be pretty.
Listen, take it from someone who's interviewed people who sold in 1968. You will 100% think about it in 10 years. Like,
Yeah.
I promise you fucking will.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. And here's the thing, it's not your DSM's fault because they're not professional therapists, they're just sales managers, and their job is to motivate and to help as much as they can. But sometimes it's not what people need. Sometimes it is. Again, I'm to play the devil's advocate. Like sometimes you knew what your DSM was going to say, and they said it because you knew that that's what you needed to fucking do, right?
Yeah.
Like it was like I know what I'm not doing, and I need to do.
Right.
I know, right? But that's different. That's it, and there's a fine line. And sometimes that's not what you need. Sometimes you need to be like you need some empathy, and you need some compassion. And that's not always the case when everyone's trying to always be positive. Sometimes you gotta be negative.
No, yeah, and it's actually really funny because so Elizabeth Berry, she one of my really close friends, and she was actually my OL last summer, and so she was the one that was like always trying to motivate me, always trying to like hype me up and just like encourage me to like just do my best and whatnot. And it was actually really funny. She's gonna hear this and just be like, fuck you, Angie. But she actually, so a few weeks before this summer, 2022, she actually injured her foot at GRS2, and later found out that she actually broke a couple bones in her foot. Not as severe as I did because she didn't have to have surgery, but like she still had to wear a boot and stuff. And it was kind of like it was kind of funny because like she was always telling me like, oh, like can't you learn how, well, when it first happened, she was like, oh, like you can learn how to drive with your left foot, and like just saying all these things, and like, which I did learn how to drive with my left foot. That was pretty fun. Yeah. And like she was trying to be like problem solving mentality, and she was always encouraging me to like walk faster or like just walk or like use my crutches and stuff, and I fucking hated those crutches. I hated them with a passion. Going door to door on crutches sucks. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And it was and so it was so leading up to the summer, she was using crutches, and like every time I was walking with her, like I was walking slow, to like, because I know what it's like to be on crutches, and she just looked at me, she's like, damn, Angie, like you really did this. And I was like, I did do this. And she was like, yeah, like
that's right, bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And she was like, no, like, great. She's always been like, that's badass, but like now that she like had to go through that pain, she was like, fuck, like I was too hard on you. Like she knew it too. She was like, damn, like I'm sorry. I was like, it's okay, I understand.
Yeah, I get it. It's just funny how when we were in it, we'd always try to find a way. Like everything sucks the same, and it's like, no, it doesn't. There's something suck worse, and it's okay, because you wouldn't trade me. If you ask any manager who has a car, would you switch and walk? No, you wouldn't. Right. Of course you would, because it sucks worse. It's okay. Right. Mm-hmm. Oh man. Anyway, all right. Well, we can wind the clocks back. Speaking of, because we were talking enough about Southwestern, let's talk about. Oh, actually, I'm gonna give a couple shout outs that we can talk about how the hell you got into Southwestern in the first place. Is that cool? Yeah. So let me give a quick couple shout outs. We're live with Angie Quiñonez, and she is one of our biggest fans. But speaking of big fans, Pat Roach in Southwestern Real Estate, they're home to some of our biggest fans. So Pat himself, of course, we'd love having him and interviewing him on the show. But of course, people like Chris Q, Meredith Gardner, now Kelly, Tim and Sarah Goss, Greg Greeter, and a host of other people. But what they all do to find success very consistently is this. Here's their tip on how to improve your game in the real estate world, or maybe in other worlds. But they have 150 coffee dates or lunches per year. That's it. They each follow a system where they sit down and build relationships with 150 people in a year or more, and they stay front of mind with enough people that dozens of people come to them to either buy or sell their home or refer a friend. So, talking with Meredith, she says that it doesn't even feel like working. You're just kind of setting up like time to catch up with people, and many of their agents are just simply getting to know the life of their clients and just living life on their own terms, because they get to schedule those things around their own schedule as they wish. Of course, they get to also succeed in a pretty lucrative industry where most people don't make it, actually. So let's put you in touch with Pat and come learn a little more about what they're doing over at Southwestern Real Estate. Great company to work with if you want to get into that industry for sure. Another shout out to Cardinal Senior Benefits. Of course, they're crushing the life insurance game. And the way they approach your business is how many of you should, if it makes sense, for what you're doing. So one of his biggest technical advices from Quintin Roberts when in business is to become a broker, not a salesperson. After all, you don't actually work for the company you think you're working for. You work for the client. So when you're able to truly look at their needs and best serve them with a product or service that's specific to them, they sleep better at night knowing that out of all of the available options, they got the best one in you. And you're able to sleep at night knowing that you did what was best for your client, while also having more money to take care of your own needs. So make sure you look at it from a service-minded perspective. Service-minded sales is the way you do it. Become a broker. Boom. So on that note, time to rewind the clocks. Go back in time to 2019. Before, doesn't that seem so fucking far away?
Yeah, that's crazy.
God. You didn't even know what COVID was.
No. Yep. I sold the summer right before COVID summer.
Oh, crazy. So let's wind the clocks back. How the heck did you first get into this whole crazy internship with Southwestern?
So I was actually a green sheet name. Do you know the green sheet?
Yeah, for people that don't know, can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so whenever someone goes to like a notebook or
Informational
session, yeah, I was like,
yeah.
either before or I think it's after the informational session, before they go into like the boats on making you decide, like, are you interested or you're not, they make you fill out this green sheet that you basically just put down any names and contact numbers of like your friends or just anyone you would recommend to do the internship. And so I was referred to by one of my friends from high school. And it was actually kind of funny because I didn't know who it was until a year later when I tried to recruit her. I like phoned her one day and she was like, "Oh yeah, I think I went through the interview process with this girl with curly hair. She was really tall." Elise? Yeah, Elise. And like I remember like showing Elise like a picture of her. She's like, "That's the girl that like wrote you down as your like on her green sheet." And I was like, "What? Crazy." So the whole time I really didn't even know that I was green sheet name until like literally like a year later. I just thought honestly, I didn't even think much of it. I was just such a buyer that I was like, sure.
You're a pony.
Yeah, I was definitely funny. I just remember going to the informational session, and it was actually right before I was doing this, like I was like in this poetry performance thing, and I had to meet up like with the girl that I was like performing with. And I remember telling like the person that was like doing the info, Danny Johnston, he like asked like, is anybody is everybody able to stay for like the hour? And I was like, I have to leave early. And they're like, maybe you should come back. And I was like, I don't want to come back, so I'll just stay here and just be late to my other thing. And so I remember going through the informational session. I was like, oh, traveling, that seems cool. I've never really been outside of Arizona or California, where I'm originally from. So then I went to the interview and process, and I kind of just like got more excited every day. And my emotional roller coaster was more like, sure. Like I like never really got scared. I was kind of just like, hell yeah, let's do this. So
You are such a pony.
I'm such a buyer. It's so bad.
Travel, money, yes.
Yes. Helping people.
Yeah,
And
man.
honestly, that was another thing for me too. I was like, ooh, helping. Like, hey, at the time I wanted to be a doctor. So I was like, yes, families, yes, travel, yes, money, yes.
Where did you go that first summer?
Ugh, Mississippi. Every time I say that state, it just gives me shivers every single time.
If America has a butthole,
Ugh, Mississippi.
it's in Mississippi.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ugh. Yeah.
Wow, that's rough, man. That's well, in a weird way, it's not as hot as Arizona summers, but it's
Oh,
worse.
it's so muggy. That's what makes it worse.
It's
Arizona's a
super
dry
muggy.
heat. Like when they say dry heat, like they're for reals. It's a dry heat. And Mississippi, ugh, it is a wet heat. Oh my gosh. I lost so much weight that summer just sweating. Just because I sweat all
Just
day.
being outside.
Literally
Just-
all day. Just sweat. Sweat. Ugh. Ugh.
that's the worst place. And the worst part is that's the state that probably needs help with education the most.
It really does. And honestly, well, the worst part wasn't even the weather. It was just like the racism out there. Like it was such a culture shock for me going out there because like I don't know, growing up, well when I like growing up in Phoenix, like in the Phoenix area, oh, there's like a lot of minorities. Like my high school was like the like most diverse high school in like all of the greater Phoenix area. Like we had like all of the
Oh,
types of origins of places, and the white people were a minority, and like I
what a
had two
world.
white friends, and they were the only white people in the school. And so going to Mississippi, I mean, like there were different parts of Mississippi, but um it was just crazy because there was like I never met any brown people, any colored people, any like anything. Like it was always just like all purely white or black, and like yeah, nothing in
Wow.
between. And like all the white people hated the black people. The black people like were just like yeah,
Aggressively racist.
it was just yeah, it was racist. It was crazy. It was yeah, it was wild.
I think it was I think they just changed it. Maybe not. I should look this up. Or Amy, if you can look this up. I'm pretty sure, at least until the last couple of years, Mississippi still had the Confederate flag within its flag for the state. I think that was a thing. Like, that's the kind of place you were at. And now we've heard good things about Mississippi, but honestly, most people that have been on here have had pretty similar feelings to you.
Yeah, like I mean, don't get me wrong. I met some really cool families. Like I'm Facebook friends with some of the families that I met in Mississippi. And it was just I just yeah, it was just not a place you want to be if you're brown.
Yeah, no, I understand. I think also Andrews, or somebody, I can't remember, one of our European guests. I don't know. I think it was Andrews, but it could have been before. But anyway, one of them mentioned that they sold in Mississippi and they had never seen a black person before. And
Really?
so when they came, yeah, because they were from like the Eastern Europe, there's like
Um,
no black people there.
yeah.
And so like he gets to Mississippi and he's just like knocking on like predominantly black communities, and he's just like, what the fuck? Like he doesn't know what to say, because he's like, and he learned about this amazing culture, and it was one of the most rewarding experiences for him because he learned about that culture. And okay, here we go. Here's the flag. Oh my god, look at this. Oh, Angie popped up for just a second. She'll be back. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. They still have this. They've recently had a campaign to change the state flag. There's legit like the Confederate flag. That's crazy. While we wait for Angie to return, I will talk a little bit about a couple of announcements. Actually, let me talk a little bit about some of our partners, and then we can just wait till she returns. But yeah, quick intermission here. Wanted to shout out EnLight.Energy and Julio Hernandez. They want you to know that the solar industry right now is the wild, wild west. So some companies are overcharging clients by lying through their teeth, sometimes not intentionally, and they're creating a bunch of bros to do the same. So when you go and get into an industry like that, it's important to work and learn from people who aren't just doing it as a fad, but actually as a career. And at EnLight, their leadership is over, I think, 35 years of experience in the solar industry. And so they're dedicated for the long haul. So join them at a really important time in the industry where homeowners are reaching out in droves just to learn about saving you money. It's so crazy that like people don't really care about saving the planet. When I was selling solar, it was just more about saving money. Um, but yeah, anyway, make sure you guys reach out. It's a very important time for the solar industry right now. It's especially with the rising costs of energy. Yeah, huge. Quick shout out to VDisain for helping us do our website. Oh my gosh. We are working on it, and websites always are evolving. But they have a couple of ideas on how to make sure that you are making the most out of your online presence. And first of all, it's just having one, not just on social media. When someone goes into your business Instagram profile, they're looking for your website. They're going to look for your bio. They're going to click on your website. If that website is broken and doesn't share your mission, then what the hell are you even doing? So get your website upgraded and simply just started, and you make a huge leap forward in your business. That was their advice. And then last quick word about Cardinal Senior Benefits. They started with us, I think three or 4 months ago now. They have 4 people who have been recruited because of the podcast. And one of the main reasons that people are moving there is because they have some of the best cultural aspects of Southwestern, but they got rid of some of the shitty ones, like the 80 hours a week or the cold calling or the lack of freedom and flexibility. So you can make pretty good money. Their top earning agents are making between $12,000 to $15,000 a week, averaging about 34 hours, maybe 32 to 34 hours. So if you have mentioned it before, if you've thought about it before, Cardinal is on growth mode. If you want to find out why so many people are going to work there and just kind of get involved, learn a little bit more information. We can't promise you a job, but we can definitely guarantee you an interview. And of course, if you want to refer someone, there's a $500 bonus in it for you. And so now, yeah, Angie is back. I'll put her back on the screen. Boom. What up, girl?
Sorry about that, guys.
It's okay. It happens. No, we don't care. We're totally flexible. I can touch my toes. It's all good. Anyway, did you see that? Did you see the flag?
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, that would be cool.
Rough. It's cool if they change it, because that Confederate flag it's crazy that that's still a thing. You know what I'm saying?
And people are like will like proudly like put it up on their house, like purely just a Confederate flag. Like I remember like every time I passed by a house like that, I was always so scared to knock on the door. I was like, fuck, either they're gonna throw rocks at me or they're gonna love me. Either way, I'm gonna be nice to them. That was my self-talk.
That's great self-talk, actually. Full disclosure. What was like the biggest, like the most surprising time where you're like, they're totally gonna be not nice and it surprised you, or the other hand where you thought this is gonna be great and then they were like super shitty? Do you have any? Can you think of any of those?
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, I'll do the second one first. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so there was this one time where I was kind of like, it was like deep neck of the woods, like deep country. And so like, I knocked on every single door in my county, every single door in every county that I was in, like, or if I had like really good pre-approach, I would knock, I just knocked on every single door that like, I was pretty good at like, just like knowing that I was everywhere in my area. And so I would go into like the deep nick of the woods, like where you wouldn't think there was a house back there, but I would go because I'd be like, I don't know, is there a house back there? My map doesn't show me, so I'm just gonna go. And then I would find myself surprised, like, oh, there's a house back here. And that definitely scared a lot of people because they'd be like, what the fuck? Like, who's, knocking on my door, like in the middle of nowhere, And I remember like I met this lady she was Hispanic, and I was really shocked. She was probably like the 1 out of 3 Hispanic people that I met all my summers. Or I guess that first summer. And like I remember I was like, oh yes, like a brown person, yay, like finally. And like I gave my first approach, and like she's just like she's kind of like a little like on edge, kind of like, like, who are you? And she she goes like, wait, what'd you say? And so like I go into my second approach, and then she kind of like comes forward a little bit, but like in an intimidating kind of way. And I was kind of just like, like kind of started going towards like getting like my book to just show her a demo, show her the books. And then I realized, blindly, I was not paying attention. There was a gun in her hand pointing at me.
Oh
It was
shit.
like, don't reach your bag. She said that. She's like, don't reach for your bag. And I was like, oh, oh, okay. I'm backing up. Like, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I did not expect that. I was so excited because it was brown. Like, I was like, oh my goodness. And yeah, so that was my first summer. That was in Mississippi. Yeah. And yeah, I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna get my bag and go to my car. Like, no harm. Like, I promise. Like, I'm just, yeah, like I'm just gonna go. And then like I like slowly grab my backpack and like just like slowly walk like back towards my car and drive the fuck off. And like I remember like being so overwhelmed. I was like, holy fuck, what had just happened? Like, I about to die? Like, what is going on? Like, I did not expect this to happen. That was not on the suck list. Problem solving, problem solving. What's the problem solving formula? Knock on the next door, knock on the next door. Like, I was just like, oh,
Crazy.
so overwhelmed. And like I just remember like I like pulled into like the next house that I saw, and like before I like left the car, I like burst into tears for a good like fat minute, and then I was like, okay, we're good, go. So yeah,
Crazy.
that was definitely one thing where it was kind of, yeah, definitely scary.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the other one, actually, I would say it's one of my pony stories. So I'll save that one for later.
So wait for that. Okay, yeah. I like because I love those. I love those when people prove you wrong, and you learned. Not everybody.
Yeah.
Don't judge it by the cover or
Oh,
the
absolutely.
blinds, or the siding, or the porch, or the trucks, or the flags.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's all the different ones. That's crazy. So you came back for 2 more. What was it like selling in COVID? And where the hell did you
COVID.
sell that summer?
Yeah, COVID. I did about the same as my first summer. I didn't really grow. It was kind of like I think I grew maybe like by 200 units, but it was definitely like I could have done better. I could have definitely prepared more.
Yeah.
And it was definitely, it was hard. One of the hardest things that I thought during like COVID was finding host families. That was probably like the most
Oh
stressful.
yeah.
Like that was like really hard because like I don't know, I felt like a lot of pressure on myself because I had an HQ and I was like one of the only girls out of the student leaders that had an HQ like on my own. And like I was just living with one other girl and she was a walker, and it was just like really overwhelming because it was like, oh, like I have to find this HQ. And the other girl HQ, it was two student leaders and like three other like first years or something like that, or two other first years. And like they had already had their like host family set up. It was an alumni, like it was really cool, like. And
Nice.
so like I had to stay at an Airbnb for like a good couple weeks, and like I was knocking, like trying to look for a host family, and like everybody, like I met so many cool people, but like their biggest like objection, the biggest objection I got was COVID. Like, I'm scared of COVID, like and like that was just like the
Right,
most
because you're gonna be
frustrating.
talking to people, bringing it home.
Yeah, and so like that was just like the biggest thing that was so frustrating because it was like, oh, like I'm meeting so many cool people and like they totally want to host me, but like they're scared of COVID. And like it was like a lot of old people or like people that were like single but like taking care of their parents or their grandparents. And it was like,
Right.
I don't want to bring it to my grandparents or whatever. And it was just like, oh, like, so I actually ended up not even finding a host family myself that summer. I well, the first year that I was living with me, she quit like week 2 or 3. And so I just ended up moving in with that other HQ, which, it was awesome. My host family, yeah, my host mom was really awesome. She sold a summer. Actually, she's an alumni. She sold a summer like in the early 90s, and she's really cool. So
We'll
she
get
was,
her on the show.
I know. Yeah, but that was probably like the most stressful part, is just finding a
Yeah.
host family. And even like I ended up finding most of the host families for like my whole org that summer, with help of like another student leader found like one other one. But like I just remember like when I was calling through that list, like COVID was just like the biggest objection I got, and so frustrating.
Where were you? Where was that? It's Mississippi, and then where was the second summer?
Oh, so that my second summer, that was in Wisconsin.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was pretty
cheese
cool.
land. Cool. Not as hot. Not as hot.
No, it was really cool, really beautiful. My last 2 summers were very cold places. Yeah, so I was in Wisconsin my second summer and upstate New York my third summer.
Oh, dude, upstate New York though. Woo.
Yeah,
That was
beautiful.
my favorite territory.
Oh yeah, it was gorgeous.
It's
Loved it.
amazing. It's
Oh,
gorgeous up there. Where in upstate?
I was like near the Binghamton area, but my host family was in Syracuse, like that area.
Gotcha. I sold in Wellsville and like Hornell and kind of that area. Yeah, more
Okay.
a little bit
More,
further from there,
yeah.
west from that. Yeah, but yeah, that was a good time. Good time.
Yeah.
Just south of Rochester. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
that
yeah.
was
That was yeah. There was like 2 orgs in like my org, and like we split it, and one of the orgs was in that area, the other org was like in our area. So
yeah, love it.
it was,
That's beautiful. That's probably the nicest place where people were. Like people were so nice in that area.
honestly, yeah, like it was kind of cool because like it was so actually like really easy for me to find a host family in New York. Like I found mine within like a week. I stayed in Airbnb 1 week when I first got to New York after like my broken foot and stuff. And like I was like the last person, in my org coming out from sales school with my sister, and we didn't have an HQ. And actually, some of the other student leaders didn't have an HQ yet either. But like I remember, I just like posted like on some different like church groups, and like I'm a very churchy person, and so people saw that, people were like, "Damn, Jesus is in her." So like it was
Yeah,
just so easy for me to
Jesus.
find. Yes. um, for me to find a host family, like 3 different families messaged me, and I was like, wow, this is like the easiest that like this has ever happened. What the heck? Like what? Um, and like I think so yeah, New York people are
That's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah, nah, I love New York. New York was, I don't know, that was my first summer. It was my best summer, and
Oh yeah, okay.
it's just really cool, the beautiful scenery when you're driving home at night after. It's not too hot, like it still gets hot, but it's not like super super hot, and you still like when you're driving home at night, it's just a beautiful drive, especially through the
Oh
upstate area of like
yeah.
with the mountains.
The mountains.
It's
Oh,
really
so
nice.
yeah.
It's really pretty. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's crazy because like I don't even think there was maybe like 1 or 2 days where it was like really hot, but like most of the summer I was wearing a sweater and leggings.
no way.
Cool, yeah, like it was
Wow.
rainy but mostly windy, mostly cool weather. It was really nice.
Yeah, I had hot summer. I mean, I remember specifically thinking, I thought it was supposed to be cooler because it's further north than Nebraska, but this is hot. I remember thinking it was hot. But you know what else too was really nice about New York is that the people there, it's in upstate New York, are so open to education. It
Oh
was so easy to get people to talk about like their kids
yeah,
and how they were doing in school, and like it's different. I don't know, something about that state was just, it was just different. It was
no,
just really
it
good.
was really cool. Like I think it was actually my best year in customers that I got. Like I sat down with so many families, and they might not have been like big packages, but like I feel like I just like I had my most customers in that summer because like literally everyone sat down with me. And like mind you, like I was on crutches, so I wasn't getting 30 demos. I was getting like 10, 15 demos, maybe
Right.
20. But like literally everyone sat down with me. So like, yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I loved it. I love it. So that's so dope. Hell yeah. Good summers. 3 summers, all check out. That's pretty legit. And despite having a little bit rougher third summer, overall a pretty solid career, I feel like, in your Southwestern. Is there anything that like that you hold, well, I guess this could be part of the ponytails, but like when you look back on all the things that you learn, is there a lesson that you're applying to your future? Because like I guess what's the future for you now? You're no longer selling books, so what are you doing for work, and what's kind of like the next 3 to 5 years look for you?
Yeah. I mean, right now I'm working at a preschool as a preschool teacher. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Something that like Southwestern, like I was always excited to learn about. It was always a part of my goals every summer was just like, this is a summer that I'm going to learn how to be like the best mom I can be or the best wife I can be or, like something along those lines. And like, I really took that to heart because like, I don't know, like my dream, when people ask me like, what do you want to do? Like, what's your goal in life? This may sound silly, but my goal is really just to be a stay-at-home mom. Like that's all I want to do. I just want to be a stay-at-home mom. I
That's
don't
not
really,
silly at all.
yeah, and like I don't
That's
know.
pretty cool.
I used to want to go into like the medical field and be like a doctor or something, but like I don't know. I just learned that my passion is kids, and like I really just enjoy kids, and I feel like my calling is just to like prepare my own kids for this world and just like help them make it a better place than we found it. So for me, that's kind of what I've been doing. I've just been like kind of telling myself like, oh, like what can I do to like, and I feel like Southwestern helped me with that mentality, like I would always say, Southwestern is going to help me with this and this and this. And now it's like, it's just helping me do that same like thought process with everything else I do. So I thought I'd be a preschool teacher just to really learn, kids and their early stages. And now I'm in the infants classroom, so I'm with the little itty bitty babies, and it's pretty great. I love it so much, and
bless
yeah.
you.
So I guess like the next few years. I mean, I don't know. I've just got into a relationship recently too, and that's been looking pretty cool. So I don't know, maybe hopefully like marriage in the next few years. Hopefully maybe starting that family. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of just what I've been doing. Yeah.
Heck yeah. That's a great answer. That's a great answer. We talked about that on the show before, but it's cool to hear from people every time because like, those are the little things you didn't expect to learn that you learn. And you're like, wow, I definitely figured out how to not be and how to be, when it comes to this, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to parenting. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Like I take that lesson to heart for sure. Like I've learned so much.
Hell yeah. I love it. I love it. Angie Quiñonez. All right. Well, let's do you want to roll into ponytails? Some ponytails?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do this. You had a good one, it sounds like. So
yeah,
I guess how many do you have? Do you have sometimes it could be 10, it could be 5, it could be 1, whatever you want.
This is like my like one that I will probably always remember. I'm trying to think. Yeah, like
this is the big one.
This one's like my favorite like story. Like I love her. I love this family.
I love these. These are my favorite. I love these.
Yeah. So it was actually my first summer. I never really had a big pony like this after either my second or third summer. It was my first summer. I remember like, I was in Mississippi. I was really hating my turf, really just like, I remember I started the day like, just like not really knowing where I was going, kind of just like I was really unprepared for my morning. I like just like found a dot of a house that I hadn't knocked on yet because like I didn't really have any morning gravy, and so like I just pinned that house and started driving there. Got there. My goal every day of my first summer was to start like no later than 7:50. So I think I got there at like 7:47 or something like that. And like it was actually like a whole like dirt road of like 3 different houses. And like I don't know if you like Mississippi, it's like a lot of family streets and stuff like that. So
yeah, like you drive down this long driveway and it's like uncle, aunt, mom and dad, grandma, like it all in the same kind of driveway. Yeah.
So it was one of those things where like I knocked on the first house. You could tell it was definitely like, an older couple. Like it was just like, like one or 2 cars, but like they were like definitely like grandparent cars and like, so like I knock, nobody answers. And, this was just really just to get like my first knock, out of the way. I go to the next house, it looked like they could have been grandparents, but like, like you could definitely tell that there were old people there. So knock, no answer. So I got to the last house on that. Well, there was actually 2 more. Well, yeah, the one house, and it was like a trailer leading to the back. But so I knock on this door, And like, oh, mind you, okay, so I guess I should tell you background. So I actually had really bad PR at one point in my first
Oh
summer, like
shit.
really bad PR, like like abducting kids and stuff like that, and like, mind you, oh, I also had a bright red Camaro with Arizona license plates, so like I was getting pulled over left and right. I got pulled over so many times in my first summer, so many times.
Also, for people who like, because we don't have this on the screen, but bad PR means like, for people when in reference to book people, means that a lot of moms are talking about you on Facebook, and it's not good. It's not a positive. It's not a positive thing.
Yeah. So like I had bad PR at one point, but I actually fixed it up really quick, like because I had sold to like a couple different cops, and so they were like, no, she's legit, like, and they were defending me on Facebook, and like it was really cool. But like I was really like, after like that really killed my attitude, having that bad PR, because it was like, fuck, I don't want to work. Like I don't know if like someone's gonna like recognize me and like think that I'm, because like literally it was sad, because like I at first, when I didn't know what was going on, like I would approach people's doors and they would like literally go hiding. Like if I would approach them like at their like they were in their front yard, they would like literally run to their door and like lock the door behind them. And like I was like, what the fuck? Like that was
They're
weird.
HBHers.
Yeah, like to the max. And so I was just like, okay, like that's weird. And then I just remember like, yeah. And so I remember when I found out what was happening, like this girl was like keeping her distance, and she was like, like, I know who you are. And I was like, girl, who am I? Like, have you seen me on Facebook? Like in like a positive way? And she was like, oh yeah, I've seen you on Facebook. And I was like, wait, what does that mean? And then she like showed me this post, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what? Like no, and like,
Right.
yeah. So anyways, so anytime I knocked on someone's door and like they like started to be like, oh, like I recognize you, I always got so panicked. I was like, oh, fuck, like what, are they gonna call the cops on me right now? Like what's gonna happen? Like, and then so mind you, again, this is like it's like 7:55 at this point now. I've knocked on the third door, and so I can hear like inside the house, like I definitely woke up the family. Like there's dog barking, the kid, like a kid screaming, and like the mom, trying to calm him down. And like she came out in her pajamas and like a hair bonnet thing. And like I remember like she was just like, hold on, and as I'm like, waiting at the door, like waiting for her, I see like her, like this bench that has like her family name on it. I was like, oh, like the Scruggs, like I swear I've sold to a family before with that last name. I wonder if they're like in relation or something.
Probably in Mississippi.
Yeah. And and so I was waiting, and it was it was taking a couple minutes. So I was like, should I like go to the next house? I don't know, like what do I do? And so she opens the door and she's like, oh, it's you. And then she slams the door on me, and I was like, oh fuck, guess I gotta go. And then she like comes out and she's like, wait, no, don't leave. I just gotta go put some clothes on. Please come in. I was like, oh, that took a turn. Like what? And so I was like, oh, okay. So like I like walk in, she like tells me to sit on the couch, and I'm just like sitting there like, okay, like waiting for her to come out with some clothes. And like this little girl is like just sitting on the couch next to me, just like playing with my long hair and like messing with my leggings, and just like messing around with me. And like I'm just like, okay. And she was just like, oh my gosh, I have been waiting for you to knock on my door. And I was like, wait, what? You know who I am in like a good way? And she was like,
huh?
yeah, like I've seen you all over Facebook, and I'm so sorry what happened to you and like what they accused you of. Like that's so terrible. Like, oh my gosh, like one of my like nephews actually bought some books from you. And I was like, oh, like Nate Scruggs or whatever his name was. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my god, like so cool. And she was like, yeah, like you sold to this person and this person, like just listing all the names of like all the people I've sold to that she knows. And she's like, I've literally been waiting for you to knock on my door. Like I've asked all my neighbors that I've seen like on Facebook, like, like, yeah, like what do you got? Like tell me, like show me. And I was like, okay, like
you gotta love those. They're the best.
Yeah. And then And I was like, okay, so like I started going into like the like intro with like, and then like I started kind of, I think I went into like I think I went into like the kids books. I think that's what I first went into. And she was like after I like did the demo, and I did the close, I did the price build up, I did the close, and she was like, cool. What else? And I was like, oh, the black books. And like I go for that. Price build up, close. Cool. What else do you have? I'm like getting terrified because I'm like, like I don't know any other sales talk. So, like, Bible library, dude, it's a very shitty demo.
Cookbook.
Very shitty clothes on that. Cool. What else do you have? I was like, ma'am, I don't know what else I have. I don't know. Like those are like the three things that like I showed her, and she was like, cool, like no. But then she was like, oh, like I don't get paid till like tomorrow or whatever, next week or something like that. And I was like, oh, like at first I thought she was gonna be like a week order or like like just like a no. And then she was like, well, can I like put like my card in and you can like take it out tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, but like, like, can we at least put like a minimum down for like, like $50? And she was like, like, no, I don't have any cash on me. And I was like, what about like $25, like just like so I can make it a strong order. And so she was like, do you take quarters? And I was like, yes. And so she like went digging through like her room, came back with like a big Ziploc bag full of quarters, and we counted $25 out in quarters. And she was a strong customer, and it was really awesome. And then her story was really cool too. Like, I love this family too because she actually adopted her daughter. Her daughter was like 8 years old, and she already had like, this lady's like kind of already a little grown. She has like a daughter that like has their own kids, and like she actually adopted her, and her daughter adopted like the family. It was really cool. It was super wholesome family. And like, I definitely misjudged her at first because I thought she would be mean and like, run me off. But like, she ended up being the super most sweet person. And then when I went back for deliveries, oh my God, that bucket was so heavy. Oh, no. Okay. So, and then she was like, hey, like my daughter actually lives down that trailer down the road. Like you should try to sell her some of the kids' books, And so like I went to her daughter's, and her daughter like gave me a money objection. She's like, oh, like we just can't afford it. So then she texted me later that night, and she was like, hey, like I wanted to give my daughter a chance to like look at the books and see if like she wants to buy them on her own, but like since she can't, I want you to order 2 sets of everything. And I was like,
dude.
I was like, what? Like, 2 sets of everything. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. I like called Elise that night. I was like, is this allowed? Like, what do I do? Like, what? And like, so like I was just like, yeah, like tack on, yeah. And then like, oh my God, it was just wow. It was just like, whoa, it was like the biggest, coolest thing.
That's a pony.
Oh yeah, and then when I came back for deliveries, I still tacked on things onto her. Like I tacked on like all the like smaller books, like the cookbook, the encyclopedia, like all just like all. I think the only thing that I didn't tack on to her was the ACT SAT prep and the honors book for like out of the 6 books. That was the only thing. And she was like,
and that's very customer minded. That's pretty good.
Huh?
That was very customer minded. That's like very customer oriented. That was really good. Really nice of you.
Yeah. So it was really cool. It was like, whoa, like I just felt so like, oh my gosh. And it was like my best. It was like it was like one of the last weeks because that's actually how I hit I Want to Win. My bat. I got my bat.
Let's see the bat. There's your I Want to Win. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Force gives out lightsabers. I forgot JYD gives our bat. That's your bat.
Cool bat.
I Want to Win, baby. That's awesome.
But yeah, that's how I want to win. It was really cool. It was fun. It was awesome. But yeah, that was probably my biggest pony story that I've
That's a legit. We haven't had a legit pony story in a while. So, yeah, that's a pony. Sure. pony. She's like she's a whole. That is a full blown pony. Hell yeah. Woo! And we've arrived, Angie Quinones. We have arrived. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, holy moly. Ah, man. What a cool, what a cool story. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for wanting to be on the show, for finally being on the show. Like I told you, we had messages. I'm like, whenever you're done selling books, we're going to get you on the show. So, when we were at a different spot, both of us, and now look where we are. And I'm happy that it happened now. I'm happy that it's happening how it's happening. So that's pretty legit. So heck yeah. So thank you. And number two is I'm so proud of you because a year ago you were having one of the toughest moments of your life, and here you are pursuing something that you love and doing what you love, and finding you found love, you found your faith, you found a job that you like. It's cool. You're doing it, and I'm proud of you.
Cool.
So I'm happy that you're taking care of yourself, and I'm happy that I'm proud of where you're at.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It feels good listening to that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely. And hope you enjoyed your time on the show. Was it okay? Was it?
Yeah, I feel like it was pretty good. Like I feel like I talked too much about like too many little things. But like it was good. I feel like it was a good episode, and I'm sure I'll be back on later on.
Heck yeah.
So, I feel like it was a good intro to me as the number one biggest fan of Ponytails podcast.
That's shots fired at Jacob Levine and Pat Roach. So we'll let them know that
I haven't seen them comment as much as I have or share as much as I have. Okay, maybe Pat Roach.
What?
Yeah,
but honestly, we'll just put one of our biggest fans on the description of the episode and just see. Oh my gosh. Well, you're the best. Thank you so much for being on the show. Guys, this has been the Ponytails podcast. We've been with Angie Quiñonez. What a cool career. What a fantastic human being. And I am very happy to have had you on the show. Thank you so much for being on here. Make sure you guys, if you guys like what you heard, make sure you guys go follow our Instagram, go like us on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. Give us a subscribe on that YouTube, hit subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Give us a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Support us that way. You don't have to do it financially, although you can. There is a way that you can join our stable and become a paid fan. There's a bunch of other perks that come with that. It's not free. We're not asking for free money. Of course, there's perks for you for supporting us. And so hopefully, if you guys have more questions about that, again, go to our website, ponytailspodcast.com. But if you're wondering, hey, how can I support without giving you money? Oh, that's great too. That's actually probably even better, honestly. Just go like things, share things, comment on things, tell people that you know, tell people about what we're doing. Be like Angie. If everybody was more like Angie in the world, then the world would be a better place. So be more like Angie. Hell yeah. On that note, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, everybody. Bye.